Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. So this is the Amico Analogy number 3. So I wanted to start off by talking about Commodore. Now Commodore was a successful company back in the 80s and 90s. They ended up releasing a lot of big hits in terms of like their computers and their software also that came with it. And they tried to transition over to the console industry later on with the Commodore Amiga CD32. And I'll show you a picture of that later on, but I wanted to touch upon, like, the whole Amiga line of computers was really popular. They they got challenged in the computer industry, and that's why they sort of tried to transition in the console industry. And they had success with the Amiga line of computers, and anybody had the personal computer at home, the Commodore 64 at that time too. That was really popular for it. And it's unfortunate when the CD32 came out. That was sort of their swan song. And you can see here right now, I have a picture of my CD32. Yeah, my Commodore CD32. And I didn't grow up with this thing. It was really expensive, and this one's actually from Europe, this one that I have, this unit here. But you could change the regions on it easily if you have a mouse. I don't have a mouse to do it, but I'm able to get it to play at home with a different power supply. And yeah, this thing, they're trying to challenge like Sega Genesis or Mega Drive in Europe, and the NES, I think, or Super Nintendo. And it was kind of weird because it didn't catch on. Like, it was one of the first CD-based consoles out on the market, but it was just like, it was way too price prohibitive. And the problem with the Commodore Amiga CD32 was they tried to repurpose like an old computer. There's old computer hardware. There's I think the Amiga, it was Amiga A1200, and that didn't go too well because it was the same tech, and the price point, it wasn't competitive with the console industry, right? That's why Sega and Nintendo at that time, they had like a lot of success, because the price point was at that point where it was easy to get into for consumers, right? Most families could buy it because the price point wasn't way too high, whereas this thing was a big price point for that time. It didn't have enough success for them to continue it, and they only ended up releasing this thing in parts of Europe. They didn't release in the States because they had some kind of legal issue in the States that they couldn't release it. I think one other company was blocking them completely from entering the market, so they had legal troubles there. And apparently they released it in Canada, but I don't know anybody personally that lives in Canada that owns one of these things, so I find that pretty interesting in itself. And those units are even more rare because they're the NTSC units. After talking about Commodore's line of the Amiga, so you take the word Amiga, and then you translate that from Spanish and Portuguese, and you get the word friend. And then you translate the word Amico from Italian to English, and you get the word friend also. Or don't you find it to be a bad omen to name your console friend after another console named friend? The Amiga CD32 was a failing platform for a company. I found that kind of funny, right? So there you have it. That's my analogy. So here's my mock Commodore Amico, right? Here's my mock-up. I have pretty good Photoshop skills. I'm not the best out there, right? But they're pretty good, my skills. Look at this. Oh, whoa, look at that. Ladies and gentlemen of the first and second generation of gaming, I present to you the Commodore Amiga Banana Pie. Yeah! Look at this thing. It's awesome. Look at you got the color scheme going on. See, check it out. You got the red and gray going on, the color scheme. Look at that. You got the Pi symbol. Get the Commodore logo. Shit, if Tommy's smart, he could license this out to like somebody that owns the Commodore licensing and the Commodore branding, and yeah, you could come out with like a shitty Amiga Banana Pie. You know, you could sell this to more fools. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a like or dislike. It doesn't matter to me. Love or hate, it's all good.
Atsamara, hey, Atsamara for you. You eat my raviola and my pasta fasola too. I'ma give you cacciatore and a pizza that's good to chew. Atsamara, you no like me, hey, atsamara for you. Atsamara,
All right.
hey. All right, stop.